Hi, my name is Jeff Shaw, and I'm the production manager at Davis Media Access. Today on In the Studio, we're going to be talking about Communication Technology Education Center, and specifically augmentative and alternative communication. And with us today to talk about those things is Stephanie Maki. She is the Communication Technology Education Center and Supported Life Institute program. I combined those two organizations. The Communication Technology Education Center program manager. Welcome, Stephanie.
Hi, thank you for
Um,
having me.
so yeah, thanks for coming down, or well, thanks for logging in, as it were. I'm wondering, just to let viewers know immediately, what is the Communication Technology Education Center? And I noticed that you guys are sort of an umbrella, or your umbrella organization is the Supported Life Institute. So if you could tell us a little bit about those two. I assume they're nonprofits, but then maybe you can expand a little bit on what they are.
Yes, yes. Supported Life Institute has been an organization operating in California for over 30 years. And their primary services that they provide are conferences to individuals with developmental disabilities, as well as their support teams, their families and staff, to provide them with resources and self advocacy information. About 15 years ago, CTEC, or Communication Technology Education Center, was developed under their umbrella as a program to provide communication evaluations and training to individuals who have developmental disabilities, but also have um, communication difficulties, whether they're nonverbal or they have difficulty being understood. So our team provides those evaluations to people, to those that need it.
And that term I noticed is called augmentative and alternative communication. And you guys, your shorthand, every organization has all kinds of shorthand terms, but AAC, or augmentative and
Yeah.
alternative communication, is the field that you're describing. And what is that? What does that mean exactly? Augmentative and alternative communication.
Yes, we have a lot of acronyms in our industry, as many industries do. Um, Augmentative and alternative communication is referred to as AAC, and it basically encompasses any communication that is not spoken. So any, even sign language falls under this category. So, and it can, the different methodologies that we use for augmentative communication can be anything from a printed sheet of paper that has choices, yes or no, or stop or more, all the way up to um, high-tech devices that are like computers or iPad based systems that will actually generate speech once selections have been made.
And are there other?
And
Well, I
all
guess
of these together give.
we're looking at a simple form of technology right there, which is basically just, as you described, a pointing at a piece of paper to sort of describe a choice. Is that correct?
Yeah, we consider that no tech, no technology. It's just an image or a word that is presented as a choice, and the individual can simply point at it to let us know what they want or need.
And some of the more complex types of technology, what are those?
As I said, some of these can be computer based or tablet based situations where lots of images and sometimes words are presented on a page. Um, and they're based on core words that are critical to communication. But an individual can point to the different images on the screen to create a sentence or a phrase to express what they want or what they need. And then the device itself will speak the words that have been chosen.
And I'm just curious, are there organizations like yours around the country? You mentioned you guys have conferences. Are there, and how do organizations like yours, if they exist, how do they typically get funding to do this type of work?
Now, as far as the CTEC program, what we do specifically with AAC and communication evaluations, we employ speech language pathologists who do these evaluations. And across the country, there are many clinics that have speech language pathologists who do similar work. Every program has its own kind of approach to how to the process of an evaluation. And I don't know how many of the others are funded. It's my understanding that some of them are able to be, they bill their services to the client's insurance and get paid that way. However, our
Mm.
program is not structured that way. So since we cannot bill our services to insurance, we have vendored with the Alta California Regional Center in the Sacramento area, and clients are referred to us by them so that we can get them the equipment that they need, the communication systems that they need.
So that's how people become aware of your services? Are all your clients through them then? Is that how that works, basically?
About 75% of our clients come to us through the regional center. We also contract with school districts. If they don't have qualified speech language pathologists on staff for such evaluations, they will contract with us and have us come out and do those evaluations within the schools. And then we've also got a few other services that we'll do, providing group trainings to school teachers at schools, or students at like Sac State and other colleges. We'll do some group trainings on AAC and methods of the different technologies that are happening, just a lot of topics within the communication category.
And how do you stay up to date on what technologies are available? And are there like cutting edge technologies that are coming out all the time?
Well, we do work with some of the at least four, probably more actually, device manufacturers that are within the country. Their sales reps keep us up to date on their newest technology, but our speech language pathologists also they have to keep abreast of things to keep their licenses. So they're researching and learning more. I, not being a speech language pathologist myself, I kind of get everything a little bit later than our clinicians do. But some of the more exciting things that are happening is we recently, in the last couple of years, have worked with a device that has neuronode technology, where there are things that they place on the skull, and the
Wow,
individual can make selections basically with brainwaves. So that has
that's
been
amazing.
effective in a few people. It's not something for everybody. Um, and then we've also learned there's stuff coming about with artificial intelligence, but we haven't seen any of that yet in real time to see kind of how that's coming together. So we haven't found a niche for that within our client base. The most exciting thing probably is eye gaze technology, which has been around for a little while, but every generation of camera for eye gaze is getting better and better. The gist of that is individuals who can't reach out and touch a screen, they can have the camera calibrate with their eyes, and then they can make selections just by looking at the screen. They can make their selections, and again, the device will generate speech for whatever they've selected. Calibration has always been an issue, and it's getting better, like I said, with every generation of camera. So that's kind of
That's
exciting.
amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. And it occurs to me these aren't necessarily cheap technologies. I mean, is there a barrier to entry for some of the clients to adapt and work with these technologies, or how does a client pay for some of these new technologies?
Well, as I said, we do the evaluations, and that's paid. Our services and the evaluation are usually paid for by the regional center. But then the area that we can use their insurance is for these devices. They're speech generating devices. Most insurances will cover them. So we help them get all the paperwork done, and then we submit it to the device manufacturers, because they have a funding team there that can go through and make sure they've got all of the details that are needed to get it submitted to insurance and get it approved. And so through that, we can usually get things funded. Any balance
That's
that's
great.
after insurance, such as a copay or a co-insurance, we're lucky here in California to have a fund through the California Public Utilities Commission that will cover this, because these devices can help individuals use the telephone. Public utilities, um, their telephone fund will cover the balance, so that there's generally no out of pocket for the client.
And are most clients readily accepting this type of technology, or is there some reticence among people, or do you have to overcome that? Is it
We
generally
try not
accepted?
to recommend it unless they've had success with it.
Yes.
Yeah, we try not to recommend the equipment unless it has we've seen success with it with the client. So our evaluations can take several months, because we do go out and trial these various types of devices and equipment with the client, and we want to make sure that they're showing some success and some potential for growth with it. Then once we've established that it is the right system, and that and they're receptive to it, then that's when the recommendations are made. And once they receive it, it's still very complicated. We provide training to to both the client and their team on how to use it, how to maintain it, how to update it, so that we try to set them up for success as much as possible before we then exit their scenario, and they're left to work with it independently.
Yeah,
So we
and
do
it
try
sounds
to
like
support them as much as possible.
you do individual trainings as well as group trainings, it sounds like. And so I mean, it's amazing that you're able to get this technology into the hands and into the person who needs this technology. But it occurs to me just that how much training really does have to happen, and a lot of it is individual, is a lot of it group training. You do both, it sounds like.
Yeah, a lot of it is individual, and by individual, it's the client and their support. Because we never want to do it just work directly just with the client, because generally the client's not going to be alone in communicating at all. So we want to make sure that the people who are with them on a day-to-day basis know how to support them. But there are a number of areas right now, several day programs where we've got a bunch of clients who have devices. We go in and we will meet with anywhere from 3 to 6 clients at one time in a group setting, so that they can get used to having conversations with each other. We
Yeah.
also have 4 AAC users, device users, who are mentors on staff with us. And every month they plan and execute what we call Jazzy Talkers. It's a group for device users. They come together and they socialize. They talk about, holidays that are coming up, what their favorite things might be. They'll talk about potential vacations, where they'd like to go. These meetings are planned by and executed by these our mentors, who again are device users.
And do you get the chance to see when these devices are successful, and do you get a chance to see? I mean, you see the whole process from start to finish. I'm wondering how often you get a chance to see the finished and see how useful these devices are, and for people when they're out and about.
I myself don't get to very often. Our clinical team, I kind of rely on them to come back and share with us success stories. We have a few of those on our website, 4 or 5 different clients that we've worked with, and we can kind of see how they are embracing their technology and using it in their day-to-day lives. We see it again also when people come back for a new device. The general rule is every 5 years, an individual is eligible for a new evaluation to get an updated device. Technology changes quickly, battery lives stop holding charge. So after 5 years of regular use, they're eligible for a new device. And when they come back in, we can see how much they've been using it over a 5-year period from when we saw them before. And that's exciting to see what they're doing. We've got some that they have micro businesses of their own. We've got and that there have a couple that are actually running nonprofit organizations with
Awesome.
as part of a team. So they really gives them that voice that they need to be able to participate fully in their own lives and in their communities.
That's excellent. And do you guys have, like, how can people get involved? I assume you take donations. We have your website up there a minute ago. Is that probably the place people can go if they want to donate?
Pardon?
I said, how if people want to get involved, is I assume they can donate, or are there other ways people can get involved? Do you have events coming up this fall and winter?
As a direct service nonprofit, we don't do a lot of public events aside from the conferences that the Supported Life side does, which they do have their annual conference is coming up in October. Information about that conference and registration is open now. Actually, you can find that on their home website, which is supportedlife.org. You can get that information. As far as the CTEC program, we are working on an event this fall to kind of recognize and connect with our donors, past and future. We do rely on the generosity of our community to help us to grow the program, our infrastructure, and our impact within the community. Because while our services, the direct time we are working with the clients, is covered by the government funds through the regional center, our travel time to go and work with these clients is not. So some of our clients can live as far as 1 to 3 hours away from our Sacramento office. And the time that our clinicians are in the car driving is not billable with that service. So we are working to try and develop a travel fund that will help to cover that so that we can reach out to these people that are living in rural areas or just outlying areas, so that they can receive the same services that people in town are receiving. Unfortunately, recently we've had to turn away a few of these clients because we didn't have the resources to serve them properly.
So people can go to your website to donate if they want to contribute to that fund, I assume.
Yes, we have a button on our website for donations. We are also active on the Benevity, the Giving Edge, and PayPal Foundation platforms under Supported Life Institute CTEC, and people can contribute that way as well.
That's excellent. Well, the work you guys do is just amazing. Stephanie Maki from the Communication Technology Education Center. Is there anything else you want viewers to know about the Communication Technology Education Center?
One last thing that I would love to share is kind of, we work primarily with adults with developmental disabilities. In the schools, of course, we do work with children as well, but 85% of our clients are adults who over the age of 22 who are in need of this communication support. And we found in our hunt for grants and funding that a lot of philanthropy is focused on supporting children with disabilities. Obviously, it's a very well-deserved area and a lot of need there. But we find that once these individuals exit the public school system, they're kind of forgotten about as far as being a priority. So we are really working to try and close that gap, trying to find those funds to make sure that these individuals have the same opportunity to speak and communicate and express themselves as their traditionally speaking peers do. And so any support that the community can share with us, any partnering that the community can come and alongside us for, we would really, really appreciate that, just so that we can reach these individuals. There are so far more of them than I ever expected when I started with our organization. Our original program plan was to serve about 80 individuals, and that was 15 years ago, and now we're serving over 300 at a time. So
Wow.
the additional support is critical, being able to reach everyone and make sure they've all got their voices.
300 people is a lot. Stephanie, thank you so much for your time today to talk about the Communication Technology Education Center. I'm glad you were able to come on and share with everyone the amazing work that you guys are doing. If anyone wants to check out the website, again, we'll put it on the screen before we close out today's show. But thanks again, Stephanie, for coming on and talking about it. Really appreciate
Thank
your
you, Jeff.
time. My name is Jeff Shaw, and this has been In the Studio with Davis Media Access.